Assalamu alaikum. This is Nadia Niazi, and today we have Sir Kesataki with us. Sir is a very renowned photographer, right? And he's been doing his portraits for a very long time. Sir, could you just give us a little briefing of yourself, introduce yourself to us?
Sure, Nadia. Thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me. As you already mentioned, my name is Kaisar Fistaki. I'm doing portrait photography for since more than 15 years. I've done my specialized from UK in portrait, and apart from portrait, I'm doing other sort of photography as well. But my specialization is basically in portraits.
So you're also a certified photographer for Nikon, right? So
Yeah,
could you just
Nikon
explain us?
basically choose some. Nikon got a platform where they select some like professional photographers as like the certified photographer for Nikon. And what they used to do is that they offer different workshops and training from the Nikon school. It's basically a global school known as a
Okay,
Nikon school. And from
right.
that school, basically, I'm giving different trainings specifically regarding the portraits.
Okay. And so since the entire topic today is it's going to be about evolution that we've had in photography. So we'll be
Exactly.
asking you a few questions and we would like you to explain us about that.
Sure.
So it's
Sure.
like we get to see people having a lot of this sensation of having photography element and everything.
Hmm.
Could you just explain why is it so important for our society?
Basically, Nadia, the thing is that photography is kind of a visual art, basically, in which you can see anything in form of a picture or in form of visual graphics. So for
Right.
the society, that this is definitely most important because in this way you can document the history. For instance, let's suppose if you're going to ask someone that have you ever seen a dinosaur? So for sure, short, nobody is going to say that you in real they
Right.
have seen the dinosaurs.
They can't
But in
visualize
form
it.
of picture, in form of like a photograph, they definitely know what is a dinosaur. So in form of a picture, you can record the history and you can create such images by which you can explain everything to the generation currently and to the generation which is coming.
Right, right. So the visualization actually helps us depict or understand a certain
For
event
sure,
or
definitely.
a certain look of a person, right?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
another thing, like obviously, it's like photography is part of our daily basis society, and everybody likes to go through the photographs and everything. So, do you think
Mhm.
can we consider it as a form of art?
This is like a quite long debate over it. It's quite unfortunate that since like from the start, photography or specifically this art is never treated or considered as an art. But now, luckily, because of the evolution and plus the photography is like quite familiar and quite known for nowadays. So luckily, finally, it is considered as an art. But like approximately like 10 years back, if anyone
Mm,
says that photography is an art, they say no, sorry, photography is not an art. There are other elements for the arts, but photography is not one of them. But now,
right.
Alhamdulillah, the like photography is an art, and even in like not in Pakistan specifically, but in other countries, they have different museums where they can you can go and visit and see the historical pictures and photographs by the professionals. So
Right, right.
now it's considered as an art for sure.
So, like in a way, like the initial art form that one used to have in mind was more of drawings and life drawing and
Drawing, the
things like that.
sculptures,
So
like the
it's
kind of paintings and all that.
right. So without using paints and everything, one is still forming an art form with photography by capturing
Yeah.
moments and things like that. That's
I,
quite
I, I
interesting,
still
actually.
I still believe that like using a camera is just like using a brush, to be honest, right?
Uh-huh.
And like with that camera you can like you have a canvas in your mind and you can capture anything whatever comes into your mind using that brush, that camera, and you can capture and create the whole
Right.
thing.
That is quite true because there's this new technique coming out nowadays that is like they are actually applying further more paints with brush on photography
Exactly,
to give it a
exactly.
nice uh, like not a water fix, but definitely more like a canvas and oil paint
Oh,
effects
it's
on
totally
that
changed now.
photography.
It's totally
That,
changed now. The way the photography was presented like back almost like 2 centuries back. Now it's totally changed. The formation and like the physical appearance of the photography. It's more like an art now.
true, true, true. So like obviously, since we are talking about photography and mostly like in like a couple of years back, one used to go to the photographers in a studio to get photo shoots done and everything. So is it still necessary to have that kind of thing, or is it like do we need to upgrade our system, cameras to get good photography? Or Malan,
Okay.
can you enlighten us with that?
Okay, now the thing is that approximately 15 to 20 years back, the photographer is like a quite a like necessary part of your any event or any social activity because you don't have the access for the cell phone cameras and you have to hire someone to capture
Right,
the event. But now, as
exactly.
well, like with the time, with the evaluation, basically now we have the cell phone cameras, and everyone is holding a cell phone camera, and they are claiming themselves as a photographer. So, like currently, the situation is entirely different. People are not hiring or like going to the photographers as like a century
They
back or
used
a
to do
year back.
previously, right, right.
Yeah, because they have the access to the for the cell phones and they can easily capture the moments using their own cell phone cameras. And technology is so advanced that things are very simple and very easy. Even a child can take the photographs very easily now. But still, for the professional events or for like the special occasions, still you need to have the professional photographers. For instance, let's suppose if someone is hosting a wedding, and so they
Right.
definitely to capture the event of the wedding and to capture the memorable moments, they need to have the photographer for that.
Over there, right, right. So it's like yeah, like we were just talking about still like using a camera mobile phone, right, from the mobile phone. One is still having the concept of doing photography, but is it easy for a layman to capture good photography, or is there a certain good photography, bad photography elements, and that we can go through on?
For sure, like with the help of the cell phone cameras, like no doubt, this access to everyone for taking a picture is very much common now, and for sure everyone can do the practice. Like I still remember, almost like 20 years back, if someone needs to take a picture, so they have to hire a photographer. Then the photographer is going to take the picture. Then film is going to go for the development phase and after
Right.
that they are going to get the picture. So there's a long process for that.
There was
Right?
a
There was no digital
roll element,
formation.
roll
Yeah,
picture.
there was no digital formation. There was nothing like that. So now the things are entirely changed. Everyone got a cell phone. Everyone got that like the digital camera. So simply they're going to take the picture. So on one side, yes, for sure, you're very right about it. Now the things are very easy for every man, for a layman even, to take the pictures and to do the practice. But on the other hand, for sure, short, like I must say that if someone is going to ask me that what's your big wish, so my big wish as a photographer is that the cameras in the cell phones should be removed. To be honest,
Right.
it's not because of that cell phone cameras are affecting our business. This is only because of the reason that cell phone cameras are like they people are not very one aware about how to use the camera. Actually, they don't have the ethics of like how to photograph anyone. So because
So
of this, I
there comes
believe
the
that
good photography and the
the
bad
privacy of
photography.
an individual is totally being invaded with the cell phone cameras. To be honest.
Agreed, agreed, definitely agreed. Because it's like they don't know when to actually capture a certain image and
Exactly.
then
Exactly.
make it go
Like
viral,
if
anything like that.
you're out with your family, if you're out with your family having your like dinner or your family time, so the people like around you, you never know who's going to take your picture and share it on the social media, and it's going to get viral, and
No,
even you're
so
not
true.
aware about it. Unfortunately,
Agreed, agreed.
specifically over here, people are not very much aware about the ethics for the photography. But in other countries, for instance, let's suppose in Europe or like in the other states, nobody is allowed to take your picture unless they're going to ask a permission from you. Even if they want to
Right.
capture you as like something a record, so they have to ask you for the permission.
Definitely, it's totally agreed. Why not have the other person's agreement of letting you take the picture?
For sure,
Because
definitely.
that is their personal like face that we are using for photography actually. So
Hmm.
they need to have that permission. Definitely agreed, sir. So one more thing that I would like to ask is like
Sure.
now that we're talking about the mobile phone camera in a mobile phone, and then there's the DSLR, right? So both of the
Hmm.
things are
Hmm.
hype nowadays. So it's like
Hmm.
obviously DSLR has a more professional outcome of the pictures, right? So, do
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
recommend that for a good photography, we need to have something like an expensive camera or an expensive tool to continue with good photography?
Nadia, this is like a question which usually, which normally, always, like at every platform, the participants, the students, and like everyone used to ask that what camera should I buy, or should I
Right,
need to have an expensive, should I need to have an expensive camera? So the answer is very simple for this. Like the camera is, as it's always said, like it's not the gun, it's the man behind the gun. To be honest, right? So the
right,
camera is just only a tool, and now this tool is going to help you in doing your work more efficiently, more properly. But
true,
actually, the creativity, the concept, whatever you're going to capture, whatever the composition, the angle, and the rest of all the things, whatever the technical parts of the photography is, that is all done by the photographer himself or by herself. So
right,
this is
right,
all inside your mind actually. As far as having a camera, no doubt, like if one can have a DSLR for sure, if you can afford it, because now the prices are quite low for DSLR as well. So
right,
it's very easy to have one DSLR. But usually what happens that more in most of the workshops, the students or the beginners who are already having a DSLR, they used to come to me and they said, "So which DSLR you are using?" So my question is why?
trying to
Why you're asking this? Why you're
follow.
asking this? They said, "Kaji, we would like to have the same DSLR." So I
Because the
used to tell
result
them,
is going to be
I
similar to
used to tell
yours
them,
then.
"Beta, this is the DSLR which I am like owning at the moment. It's not a DSLR which I got like just a few days before. It's a long journey. I still
Right.
remember when I started my photography journey. I used to have like
So there's a connection error right now.
cameras. But the true artist or the true photography is inside your mind. That is you yourself, not the camera,
Right.
to be honest.
Say. Because definitely it's like you're right. If you have a good composition in your entire picture frame and you're using the proper lights and things, so it will become the result is going to be
Jay,
definitely
Nadia,
very
can you hear me?
enhanced. Yeah, yes, I can, sir. I can. Can you hear me, sir?
Uh,
So can you hear me? I can hear you. Think sir is having some connection issues. We'll just get back. So can you
she's
hear
back.
me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
So
telling the story to the audience that my host has disappeared somewhere.
no problem. So I think the net is giving us all this
Yeah,
certain issues nowadays. So I was basically talking about the fact that good photography sense like a result can only be developed not because of the camera quality or the product, whether it's expensive or not. It could
even if you
even
do,
be
if you do allow me, I would like to add one point over here for the audience
sure,
that
sure, sir. Please.
this is a research actually done by the association, the Professional Photography Association, and according to that research, when you started your photography, the initial 10,000 pictures, it's quite a number, 10,000 pictures are your worst pictures, right? Are the
Right,
pictures
right,
out of which you can't claim that you are good in photography. 10,000 pictures are those pictures which is just your test and trial. After
right.
capturing so many pictures, after having a picture of almost 10,000, then you came like start to learning that what is a proper picture or how to capture a proper picture. But nowadays,
Right.
the users of the camera, they own a camera, and the very next day
They're
they claim
constantly
themselves
on
that
it.
we are a professional photographer. They used to make a photography page on the Facebook or the Instagram, and they used to have a pro photographer. That's not the way, to be honest, to start any art. This is a disrespect to in my personal opinion, this is a disrespect to the art which you are doing.
Agreed, sir, because it's like the practice that's going to make you perfect rather
For
than
sure.
just having a tool in your hand and saying that you're perfect with it.
Yeah, exactly so.
So one more thing that I would like to ask is, being a photographer yourself, what would you recommend the students or even a layman who would like to be good in the photography then basically what point or what tip would you like to give them and like
Mm-hmm.
in what kind of learning should they have for an improved photographer, I mean good
Mm-hmm.
photography?
Mm-hmm. Okay, now, Nadia, the thing is that when you say the word photography, and if we like have a proper translation of the word photography, there are basically two words in it. One is the photo, and the other is basically the graph. So
Right.
the word photography means it's drawing or basically making something using light. Graphing means
Okay.
to draw something, right? And photo
Draw
is basically
something from
photon,
it,
the
right.
photon from the light. So actually, the word photography, if we make it in a
Okay.
simple translation, so the word photography means like making something using light. If you have the expensive camera, if you have like a beautiful model, if you have everything ready with you, and if you don't have access to the proper light, there's no way that you can capture a proper picture. So from my side, always, whenever like such question is raised from any platform, so my side, I always used to tell everyone that the best learning for anyone who's starting the photography, who's already like quite experienced in photography, even like for me myself, I'm still learning photography. I'm still learning the different techniques of lighting. So the best and the most important approach for any photographer is to learn about the light, because light is the most essential part for any picture. Like the rest of the things, for instance, the composition, what's how you're going to capture the frame, what sort of angle you're going to use, like that is the secondary thing. The primary thing is
Right.
how to use light properly. For instance, take the example, like you are sitting in front of the camera, I'm sitting in front of the camera, and let's suppose if we turn off the light,
Right. Right.
so we can't see each other. So the
Yeah, there's
camera
going to
can't
be a
do
black
anything. The
screen.
camera can't do anything. So the most important thing
True,
for
true.
anyone is to learn the light actually. And this is, frankly speaking, this is an endless learning. It's not like that you're going to start learning lighting after a day or so. You start going to claim, okay, I know how the light works. No, no way. It's an endless learning, and this is the most important learning for any photographer, either the beginner photographer, the hobbyist photographer, or the professional photographer.
Right, because I definitely agreed. Because I have noticed sometimes we are taking pictures, and if we are standing right opposite a light or sunlight, basically, so the picture
Mm-hmm.
result doesn't come up nicely. It gives that black
Exactly.
silhouette kind of an element. So you're
Exactly,
very right that
exactly.
one has to be careful with the light. It has to
Even if you're
be
taking a
like
selfie, for instance, let's suppose if you are taking a selfie, so the most important, the sweet point is that you always try to find out the point where the light is proper. So you always have to
right, very
go.
true.
So the most important thing for
Definitely
anyone
agreed.
is the light, actually.
I think nowadays people are more selfie pro rather than other kind of photography.
Yeah, selfie is
They're
honestly
excellent
speaking, in
with it.
photography, it's basically a one technique now, and even we are having different workshops and trainings and courses how to take a proper selfie now. So this
Nice, that is
is a
good.
one this is a one important part. It's a one important skill of photography now.
So yeah, taking a picture of yourself is definitely going to be an art. I must say it's an art form. Right. So it's like like we were talking about the lights and everything. So like it was being discussed that the light has to be good. So
Hmm.
again, it's like somebody who doesn't have a studio or doesn't have the big studio lights to work with. What would you recommend them for them? How can they use light, or how could they replace light for good pictures?
Okay. Now the thing is, when we talk about the lighting, actually there are two kinds of light. One is basically the
Hmm.
ambience, the light which is available around the clock, around you. That is known as an ambience light. The second one is artificial light, which you can create either using this professional lights from the studio, or by
Right.
using the speed lights or the flashes which are like mounted on your camera.
Available.
So the best thing, like if someone wants to learn the light, like the first way for learning the light is to get yourself used to by the sunlight. Go and do the practice in the natural light, the sunlight, because that is the best form of the light available, the natural light,
Right.
right? The sunlight.
Okay.
So if you are very much experienced and know how to use the sunlight in a proper way, like for instance, let's suppose if someone asks you to go and take a picture at the noon, which is like almost 12 o'clock or 1 p.m., and that is the time when the light is very harsh, especially in the summer days. It's
It
very
is
harsh,
because it's like
right?
right.
And if someone gives you an assignment of the task that you have to go outside and take a picture, and the picture shouldn't be overexposed. So the thing is that you should know how to use the proper lighting technique, how to diffuse
Right.
the light actually. So the first thing for anyone, everyone, or for anyone is to understand the sunlight, how to properly use the sunlight. Now then,
Hmm.
the artificial lights, there are a hundred of different varieties available in the market for artificial lights. Uh, so it's not very affordable for I believe it cost you like 8,000, 9,000. I remember when I
Okay.
got my first speed light, that cost me almost like the $300 at that time. That was around $300 at that time. So now the things are like changed,
Right.
and the things are entirely changed, and the gadgets and the equipments are very easy and affordable for everyone. So you can have a flashlight for cost you all, and these are the Chinese lights, for instance. And thank you very much, China, for like giving us so cheap gadgets, and very like, frankly speaking, the gadgets are very cheap and they are very good in working as well, right? If the one knows how to
The
use it
performance
properly.
is also good.
Yeah, the performance is also very good. So you can always have a 8,000, 9,000 speed light, and you can do the practice. There are basically two forms of artificial light and the natural light. Natural light is always available
Right.
for you. Don't have to like go and purchase anything
It's
for
there.
that.
Yes. Daylight is totally there for you half
Yeah.
the day. So even in daylight, like you were talking about, noon is not a good time for photography, right?
No,
Because
if
the
you if,
light is quite bright. So it's
hmm.
somewhere between the near the evening hours and somewhere near the morning
Aha.
hours.
In photography, we used to call it the golden hours. Actually, the golden hours are like the either the early morning, like when the sun is rising, or like almost like when the 6 to 6:30
Around
nowadays, for
sunset,
instance,
near sunset.
the sunset time. Actually, these are called the golden hours now,
Okay.
because everyone loves to have the picture in this time because the light is very soft, and overall the picture is going to be very soft and very diffuse and very properly formation of the light actually. So everyone loves to have the picture at this time, but again, if you're going to have yourself so much like you can take picture only at this particular time, so you're not a photographer in that case. For a photographer, there are challenges. Like for instance, let's suppose that
Right.
when we are in the field, we are doing photography. So we used to do different work at the time of like almost 12 and 1 even. But we have to capture the light properly in that way. So there are artificial ways and there are some different ways to diffuse the light. For instance, let's suppose like if you are sitting in your office and all of a sudden you look outside the window and you feel like, oh my god, it's very pleasant outside. What's the pleasant? The main thing is like the sun is covered with the like clouds and the day seems
Clouds.
like very like overcasted day. So
The
that's the
harshness of
best
light
moment,
is
and
over.
that's the best feel thing. So we can use the artificial ways in which we can cut and diffuse the light and make it that softer as the sun is
Right.
covered by the clouds.
Definitely, definitely, sir. And so, another thing that I would like to know is since you've been working as a photographer for like portrait photographer for such a long time, what was the most difficult genre in it?
For portrait. Actually, I'm doing portrait
Overall, in
photography, and
photography as well, even for
yeah,
photography.
frankly speaking, Nadia, now I still remember once I offered a workshop in which I said that I'm going to give training to different whoever it is interested in any form of photography. So one of the participants, he came to me and said, Kiti, sir, I would like to do forensic photography. I said, this is something
Okay.
very new for me. This is something very new for me, forensic photography. I asked him, Kiti, do you know what is forensic photography? He said, no, I don't know about it, but I heard it that this is one form of photography. So I said, I thought because nobody is doing this kind of photography, so
Just the
why should I
name
go for
seems like it. Right. The names, he liked the name, so he went for it without knowing the name.
Not only the name, actually, he thought that because this is the kind of photography nobody ever said, "Okay, I'm a forensic photographer." So he thought might be this is something new, and I'm going to start something new out of it. So I like guided him, "Ki, beta, this is something entirely different, and this is a crime scenes kind of a photography, which you usually watch in movies." And the question is like, as for portrait, in particularly portrait, there are different kind of forms. For instance, let's suppose if
Okay.
I myself, I'm a portrait photographer, but I'm not only a simple portrait photographer, I'm a fine art portrait photographer. So what I
Oh, okay.
used to do is I used to capture portraits using the techniques of the paintings and drawings and fine art all together in form
Nice,
of a
nice,
portrait. So that is basically
nice.
one form of portrait. So whoever
So,
interested to have any kind of my advice to everyone from your platform and to everyone that whatever the thing you want to do, go for it. Like for instance, let's suppose if you want to do the bird photography, go for it. If you don't want to go for the landscape photography, go for it. Or any other kind of photography, certainly go for it. But in the end, like you have to sorted out that what kind of photography makes you like more comfortable and you feel yourself like that you can do it professionally, because it's impossible like that being a
just
photographer
picking
you
up
can do
one
all sort of
element.
photography. For instance,
Right,
let's suppose if I'll share my experience with you. I in once in a life, I just only tried the bird photography just only for once, just for an experiment. And after that,
right.
I said, no, thank you very much. I don't have that patience to go over there to mount my camera on the tripod and sit and like waiting for the bird to come and then do the pose and then I have to capture the picture. That's entirely a different thing.
You
So like,
definitely need patience for it.
for sure.
So yes, definitely agreed, sir. Okay, taking photography of nature or capturing nature in photographs is
Yeah, but
definitely
that is
a very
entirely a different
difficult
thing.
task.
And people are very specialized in it. Even in sports photography, there are specialized photographers. In landscape, there are so one like it's instead of becoming a jack of all, you have to be master of one, right? I
True,
choose
true.
portrait and like from like start till now, I'm just only doing portrait photography. I'm applying different techniques in portrait, so that's allowed. That's obviously acceptable. But instead of like trying myself into fitting into like the landscape and all that kind of thing, that's not the proper way.
Right, right. It's like yes, you're right. You should be perfectionist in one certain field rather than just
Exactly, exactly.
spreading over. So, so if we look at like since we've discussed DSLR, we've discussed the mobile cameras. So if we look at like cameras or photography in general, it
Hmm.
has evolved a lot during the century, right? So it's
For
like
sure,
a
of course. It's been 2 centuries. 1830. It started from
so could
1830.
you highlight us with that? Exactly. So it's been more than like it's almost been 2 centuries now. No, no, no. What am I saying? Yes, it is. It
Yeah,
has been two
it's more
centuries.
than 2 centuries. You're
So
very
yeah, my
right
God.
about it. 1830. That was the time when camera was introduced. And uh,
So right. So could you just highlight us how it has changed or how it has evolved during these times?
for sure. Why not? Because the thing is, Nadia, the thing is that initially when the photography was started, nobody can even like imagine that they are going to capture a picture on in form of a photograph. That was something very unique. Frankly speaking, the history is the most boring part for anything, for any art, right?
It's
If
quite
I'm going
dry.
to start the history, if I'm going to start the history, so I'm pretty sure the audience is certainly going to get very bored out of it. That they don't have any interest in how it all started and what it come out now. So
Right.
according to, according to your question is that for sure, right? With the passage of time, the technology is entirely changed. If you do remember, almost like 20 years back or 23 years back, that moment when the Polaroid camera was introduced, the camera with the film and the picture is coming out of the
Right, the whole thing, right.
instantly,
Oh, okay,
instantly.
right, right, right.
That was the time. That was the moment when it's something very new for like
That was somewhere in
everyone.
80s, right? It was somewhere in
That
80s.
was almost like 80s in
Yeah,
80s.
exactly,
That
exactly,
was in
sir.
80s initially, but priorly to that, that there are only two or three more most important brands specifically for Pakistan. The most of the people are using Yashica 36 camera, right, or
Okay,
the Minolta camera. So
right,
it all started. The most important thing, the most evolution from the for the photography is that when the photography was started, we don't have any digital formation of the cameras. We have to put the film in the camera. The film got a reserved number of exposures. They are like 24 exposure or the 36 exposure.
36, right.
While taking a picture, while capturing a picture, the photographer is totally blind. You are not like very well aware about what you're capturing. For instance, let's
The
suppose
picture will
nowadays
dwell
you
in.
simply take the picture, just see the LCD, no, it's not properly. You have to take another picture. So at that time,
Agreed.
you have a limited number of exposures. So all this evaluation is for sure from like the history till nowadays. Even I just read an article a few days back. Olympus introduced a new camera that is known as an Olympus Air. You can you imagine the camera? The whole camera is just only the size of a small lens size. It's that
Really
small.
so.
Yeah, it's that
Right,
small.
right.
Only a size of a lens, a very small lens actually, and it don't have
Okay.
any LCD or anything in it. But it's actually a
That's like
complete camera
around
having a
2
complete.
inches.
There is a with sensor and all that. It's a digital camera. What you have to do, you
Okay.
have to pair that camera with your cell phone. That cell phone is going to be your screen now, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
with
The
the with that
DJI
lens,
thing.
yeah, it's that small camera. It's that small camera.
Exactly.
Even in DSLRs, are almost like 3 to 4 years back, there's a new technology introduced that is known as the mirrorless cameras. Now everyone is switching to the mirrorless cameras. Mm, I'm not going to explain the mirrorless cameras in detail, but the simplest thing about the mirrorless cameras is they are very small in size and they are very handy and they are professional cameras, just like the
Oh, okay.
normal DSLR cameras. And you can easily carry them and you can easily mount your lenses whatever you want to. And like everyone is like switching their sense to the mirrorless cameras now. So the technology starts from the day the camera was introduced till
That
today.
big bulb
That
thing going.
yeah, exactly. There is a quite like a quite a change, frankly speaking. The camera from the film cameras, then the digital cameras. Now that there are other form of cameras, and
Even like, so what do you think? Drones, they are here, and like people are using drones a lot
yeah,
nowadays.
even the
So,
drones for sure shot. Like before drone, if you have to take a picture, a bird eye view actually, that's
right, right,
something very challenging for a photographer. You have to use the cranes and or either you have to go to a certain height from where you can capture a picture. But now
right.
with the drones, just imagine that with a one single control, you can make the drone 360 angle and all sort of shots. And even
Exactly. So
like you can see the what's placed on your rooftop. Using the drone, you can go
one can
make it.
use it as a spy detector. Like, so
Exactly.
that's like, so if we definitely look at all this, the photography or even the cameras, they've really evolved from that time. That big tripod things going on, people and the photographers carrying all those tools with them, have now come to a compact thing with still
Yeah,
better
exactly.
results.
But still, the professionals they got the cameras with so many equipment. They have tripod.
Right.
So we can't say that with this evolution that the things are so much compact. No doubt the cameras are compact, the size is like reduced, but still for the professionals, they need to have
They
all
have
these
to be.
gadgets
All the
alongside.
gear has to be with them.
Yeah.
So what is your comment over the fact that is it possible that we can use the same camera for video making and for photography?
Yes, almost like again when the DSLRs was introduced, specifically the digital cameras, the DSLRs actually, not the SLRs, the DSLRs. So when the DSLRs was introduced, there was no way that we can use the still camera for making the video. We
Videos,
have to
right?
use a separate camera for the film cameras. It's a separate cameras and still cameras are the separate cameras. But now one single camera can give you both options. You can use that one single camera as for the
Okay.
still photography as well as for the video for videography as
Okay.
well.
Right. Right.
So now most of like almost every DSLR or every camera got the option. It's kind of a dual option camera now. You can use it for making the films or you can use it for the photography. But for the professional films or for the professional videography, there are still separate cameras. But for general use, one single camera can be used for the video and for the still as well.
Right. So there was this one time I had heard that if we make videos on a DSLR, it might damage the lens. Is it true?
No, it's just a message to be honest. There's nothing related to lens for that. Actually, there's one thing which is known as a sensor of the camera, right? The
Okay.
sensor, the heart of the camera.
Right.
What
Right.
happens when you are like using a still camera to make the video? For every time when you're going to click a picture for to take a still picture, so with every click, your sensor is going to expose the picture of one, and then it's finished, right? It's going to
Okay.
go into
Right.
the sleep mode now. While using your DSLR for videography, your sensor is continuously recording the image. So
Okay.
yes, up to one extent, we can say this that using an ordinary DSLR camera, which is not specifically made for the purpose for
For
the
videos.
videography,
Right.
so that camera, with the passage of time, can be deteriorated the sensor actually. So there might be possible that after 2 years or 3 years, if you're using that DSLR for the purpose of videography only. So your camera is going to give you some problems after a certain time. But still, that's not like after one shoot or two shoot or after a year. That's almost
It's a
like more
constant.
after
Right.
2 3 years or more than that even.
Okay. Okay. So I really hope that this has helped our viewers. Is there something that you would like to say to the viewers, sir? Because
I believe that we have already covered so much, and like in the end, if you the conclusion note
any
for
suggestions that
everyone.
you would like to go?
The only suggestion is that no doubt photography or any art, not particularly photography, any art, whatever the form of art you are interested in. So you have to again do your expertise, do your experience on it. You have to work hard. There's no shortcut for anything, to be honest, right?
Right.
specifically
Right.
specifically in photography, especially the new generation, they believe that just having a camera is more than enough to be a good photographer. No, it's not like that. The practice, the study, like the study most important. You have to
Right.
keep yourself, you have to keep yourself upgraded in form of your knowledge as well. Not only in form of your gear, not in form of your camera only, but in form of your knowledge as well. So you have to keep on like studying and doing your research to understand that what new things are coming and how it's going to help you out. So this is the only thing I would like to advise for your audience.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a
My
good
pleasure.
day. Okay.
Same
Take
here.
care,
Thank
sir.
you very much
Take
for
care. Allah
inviting.
Hafiz.
Thank you. Take
Allah
care. God bless
Hafiz.
you.
Take
Allah
care,
Hafiz.
sir.